A big announcement in Covington County concerning jobs. We'll tell you where and how many are coming next. Cassie?
Soon you might be noticing more local law enforcement in your area. We'll tell you why coming up on News 4.
The Houston County Sheriff's Office is partnering with a horse rescue. I'll introduce you to Bama coming up tonight on News 4.
Thanks, Devin. And we ride along with a World War II veteran as he relives his service days in a B-17. News 4 at 6 is next.
From your hometown news leader, this is WTVY News 4 at 6.
Local police changed their hours to better serve the public. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tessa Darlington. Reg is off tonight. Thanks for joining us for News 4 at 6. Well, the Houston County Sheriff's Department is changing its shifts to better protect the public. And News 4's Cassie Shelley talked to deputies about this switch today, and she joins us now from our studio to tell us what they had to say about it. Cassie?
Well, Tessa, deputies over at the Houston County Sheriff's Department seem to be really excited about this new change. They say it will help the public and the department at the same time. Captain Jeff Carlisle of the Houston County Sheriff's Office says his department has been looking into a change for a while.
The sheriff has looked at trying to put more manpower on the streets and take care of the county better, and also just get more security out on the roads.
And now they're doing just that by transitioning to 12-hour shifts.
We found that we can get to a potentially of doubling our manpower issues on shift. With this, we have the ability to address more of the backup issues and, of course, having more coverage in the county.
We're actually using the same amount of people as far as in our department, but by doing the 12-hour shifts, it will stack our people differently. Every day, we will have more people working than what we've had on our shifts in the past.
You might think 12 hours is a long shift, but deputies have a plan of action when it comes to fighting fatigue and staying physically fit.
We're going to allow them time to, one, do the Fit for Duty, which is actually a fitness program. We also have a gym that we can all work out in.
They'll be afforded an opportunity to actually get in that because there'll be a lull time where they can get their workout in.
Carlisle says the change in hours is not a bad deal for the deputies either, especially since they'll be getting more time off on the weekends.
The 12-hour shifts will help them have a little more time off on the weekends, spending more time at work during the week.
Gonzalez says this type of change is exactly what Houston County Sheriff's Office needs in order to keep the public safe. Now the new shift takes effect on Monday, October the 8th. Tessa?
All right, Cassie, thank you. Now, a new program is helping fund this switch for the Sheriff's Department. Houston County Commissioners approved that program today. It's a community traffic safety initiative for officers. A grant from Enterprise Ozark Community College will fund that program, and officials say it will allow deputies to be in the places they're most needed.
What it allows us to do is emphasize areas of need out in the county that have had traffic concerns, safety concerns. It allows the Sheriff's Department to put people specifically in those areas and pay overtime for our deputies to be there. The grant pays for the overtime, so it doesn't come directly out of our budget.
Commissioners also approved the purchase of a 2013 Chevy Silverado for the department. A former Geneva County school teacher is in trouble with the law. Sheila Whittle is charged with identity theft. Police say she stole a victim's credit cards and tried to sell their house. The Sampson police are working with the Alabama Bureau of Investigation Cyber Unit on this case. They have confiscated Whittle's computer for that investigation. She's currently free on a signature bond and additional charges are pending. Lawyers in Casey Anthony's defamation case have agreed not to bring up her murder trial if it can be avoided. Zenaida Gonzalez is suing Anthony for defamation. Gonzalez says she was harassed after Anthony made up a nanny that had the same name and accused her of kidnapping her daughter. The trial is set to start in January. Explosive experts from Fort Benning are in the process of removing what one official described as an old Army shell. They found the device in a remote field off the New Brockton Highway 84 bypass. The Dothan Bomb Squad, along with the Houston County Sheriff's Office Homeland Security Rapid Response Team, are assisting. One official says it appears the device may be several decades old, and they will have to take defensive action if in fact they determine it to be a live round. Well, it seems that you hear more animal neglect stories every day, and the Houston County Sheriff's Office says they handle about 2 cases of neglected horses every month. News 4's Devin Sellers talked to the sheriff and joins us in our studio. And Devin, they're turning to some rescue groups, is that right?
That's exactly right, Tessa. One group in particular right here in Houston County, and I spent the day out there this morning actually, and I got to check out the safe haven they've created for these special animals. One of 14 pretty lucky horses at Camp DD in Cottonwood.
Usually they're fairly emaciated. We've had several come in that were very dehydrated because they had no source of water. They weren't being fed regularly.
Now they're being nursed back to health by the SEAL Cares and Animal Rescue Group. It got started about 2 years ago.
We started out taking in a couple elderly, senior horses that really didn't have any other home, and we realized we had such a big place, such a nice property, that it just seemed right to start taking in horses that needed a good home.
With a spike in horse neglect costs, the Houston County Sheriff's Office is now turning to them.
It's a great asset to us to be able to call them when we have one of these cases. They bring the trailers out, they pick up the horses, they bring them here, they get veterinary care for the horses, they feed them, they get them back into good health, and then they adopt them into loving, caring homes.
This is Bama. He's one of 4 horses rescued in July after his owners died in a fire. He was found malnourished and dehydrated, but as you can see, he's healthy and ready for a home. Right, Bama?
It makes me feel proud and makes me want to come back and do more. It makes me feel like I'm making a difference.
They take in about 3 horses a month, then adopt out about the same amount. But to do this, they need help.
There's always poop needs scooping, things that need to be clean. Horses need to be bathed and brushed. They're always happy to get care.
Care, and of course, a carrot. And the adoption fee is about $300, and that may sound like a lot, but it covers the vet and care costs. And they said they pointed out you really know what you're getting when you adopt a horse from them. It's a horse that is healthy and truly deserves a good home.
Absolutely, and they look great, so I'm sure that they will be getting those homes very soon. Thanks, Devin. Now, to learn more about how you can adopt or just donate to that cause, click the For More Info tab at WTVY.com. The days of online tax-free shopping in Georgia are over. The state became the 10th in the country to change its tax code this week. Many online retailers, like Amazon.com, for example, will now collect the state's 8% sales tax. If the site you shop does not collect that tax, you'll still have to pay what's going to be called a use tax to the Georgia Department of Revenue. State officials say the change will bring in about $18 million a year. Some big news for OPP today. A Southwest Georgia company says it plans to open a large inland travel center along the OPP bypass, and it's expected to bring 36 jobs to that county. News 4's Mike Gerspan tells us officials hope the project will encourage other businesses to locate on that bypass as well.
Covington County Economic Development personnel, along with OPP officials, gathered at the intersection of Highways 331 South and 84 for the announcement. Southwest Georgia Oil Company plans to build an inland travel center here. It'll be complete with 2 restaurants along with fuel access for semi-trucks. It'll mean 30 jobs.
Some activity along the bypass, and we've got a new hotel down the road here, but we need something really to jumpstart our development.
Since the bypass was completed nearly a decade ago, officials have looked to create business growth on the 6-mile stretch. It's hoped the travel center may be the catalyst.
On this project for several years, trying to attract somebody in here to jumpstart the bypass. We got the new hotel, and this will enhance that as well.
As realtors would say, location, location, location. And that's exactly the thought of company representatives for this intersection at Highways 331 and 84.
It's just a direct route to the beach. And every time I drive through here, there's just a lot of traffic on this road, and that's good for, obviously, for our business. And we like OPP. We like the size of the town.
Construction on the travel center is expected to get underway before the end of this year. In OPP, Mike Gerspan, WTVY News 4.
And inland officials believe the travel center will be open for business in less than a year. Auburn gets ready for a showdown with Arkansas this weekend. Paul Stockman's going to tell us how the Tigers plan on taking home the win. Plus, we take a historic plane ride with World War II heroes and hear some of their amazing stories. You're definitely going to want to see this story. But first, let's check on the weather with meteorologist Nate Harrington. Nate?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tessa. Well, we saw some clouds around this afternoon, but those are starting to clear out. A little bit of morning fog, too, lifted. Warm and sunny for the next couple of days, and another cool front moves through. We start to see more fall-like temperatures return. We'll detail that forecast coming up.
You're watching News 4 at 6 with Reginald Jones, Tessa Darlington, meteorologist Nate Harrington, and Ken Allen Sports.
The Experimental Aircraft Association is paying tribute to Wiregrass veterans. This weekend, people can see an aircraft soldiers used in combat. News 4's Muriel Bailey spoke with two veterans who completed missions in a B-17, and she joins us now at the Dothan Airport, where that aircraft is docked right now. Muriel?
Tessa, not only did I get a chance to speak with those local veterans, I also got a chance to ride with them in this B-17 you see behind me. Now, speaking with them and hearing about their experiences really made me feel like I was in the middle of it all. Today is a special day for World War II veteran Arthur Osachuk. Arthur has enrolled in a B-17 in 68 years. In 1944, he flew on the Silver Dollar B-17 in Mission 74. He says he remembers that mission like it was yesterday.
The one for the radio operator telling Jesus Christ, they're dropping bombs on us about that time. The plane shook. I had to get out.
That B-17 crashed after its tail was blown off. Only 2 out of the 10-man crew survived. Arthur is one of the 2.
It was a miracle. I was blessed.
Arthur says he still has memories about the others who didn't make it.
He was sad about the ones that never got out. They were good crews. They were young, 20, 21.
Now here's where Arthur sat as the ball turret gunner. In order to be the gunner and fit in this small spot, you had to be no taller than 5'6".
The ball turret was very uncomfortable.
World War II veteran Fred Fellows also flew on a B-17 over Germany.
We wasn't flying for fun.
He describes the aircraft in 3 words.
Well, it's a tough old bird.
A tough old bird, he says, that has a sound like no other. After that crash, Arthur was taken as a prisoner of war for 14 months. He later went on to complete other missions, and he says he'd do it all again. Back to you, Tessa.
Wow. Nice to hear from them on their experiences today. Thank you, Muriel. Now, if you would like to tour or fly on that B-17, you can do so tomorrow and this weekend. Now, the ground tours are $10 each, and then the mission flights start at $400. For more information, though, on the times and how to book a reservation, just go to WTVY.com. Well, if you like barbecue and beer, Porktoberque is pretty much right up your alley. The free event is scheduled for tomorrow night and all day Saturday at the Houston County Farm Center. There's going to be live music, fire dancing, that sounds interesting, polka music, country and rock bands, and some activities for the kids. There will also be several Wiregrass charities participating, and to learn more, just go to the For More Info page of WTVY.com. We've provided a link to the Porktoberque Fest on our website there. Well, Saturday is also the 15th annual Youth Fishing Day from 9 until 11:30. Kids 5 to 12 can fish for free at Eastgate Park in Dothan. Now, all children must be accompanied by an adult, and you will need to bring your own poles, bait, and stringer. The Circle City has announced trick-or-treating hours for this Halloween. You can take your little ghosts and goblins on their candy hunts Wednesday, October 31st, actually on Halloween this year, from 5 until 8 o'clock. Now remember to only visit the homes with lights on, and adults are reminded, check that candy before your child eats it, and they also encourage you to bring along a flashlight. A day on the golf course is helping send students to college. More than 130 golfers teed off this morning for the Jackson Thornton Invitational Golf Tournament. This is the 10th year the Wiregrass chapter of the Troy University Alumni Association hosted that tournament. All the money raised helps provide Troy scholarships for local students.
I think it helps those kids that we are benefiting to be able to go to school and have that extra money for book money or to help with tuition or whatever. I think it's important, especially in today's economy, in order to get some sort of help with the college education.
They're hoping to raise up to $12,000 this year. Last year, they were able to provide 7 college scholarships. Well, here's a look at what you can expect tonight on News 4 at 10. A popular addition at Florida parties will be missing from here on out. We're going to explain exactly. Plus, why a prehistoric discovery has one fisherman fearful his luck might be running out. Those stories and more tonight on News 4 at 10. Some sun, some clouds today, kind of depended on where you were. Let's go to Nate Harrington now for a check on our weather. Nate?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tessa. Did see some clouds around the area today, but they're starting to clear out now. We've got a nice sunset out there in Eufaula, courtesy of our Alpha Insurance cams. Not as much cloud cover around for tomorrow and Saturday. Warmer temperatures, then another cold front moves through. Details are in your forecast after this.
And now from the Forewarned Storm Center, meteorologist Nate Harrington.
Like we saw before the breaks, a little bit of cloud cover around the area right now. Did see some clouds this afternoon, mostly in the southeastern portions of the viewing area. Even saw a little bit of rain down near the coast, near Apalachicola, but all that now is dried up and everything is all dry. Lows today in the 60s for the most part. Did see some 70s, did see some 50s. About 54 up in Troy, 59 in Abbeville. Everybody else in those low and middle 60s. And afternoon highs, once the cloud cover started to dissipate just a little bit, things started to warm up back into the 80s. Remember yesterday, hardly anybody was in the 80s because of the cloud cover that we saw around. But today, back into the middle 80s. Very pleasant out there. A little bit of humidity too this afternoon. That's going to stick around with us for tonight. It's 76 right now in Dothan. Still feels like 78 with the humidity still around, right around 64%, but we still have that persistent northerly wind, so not too terribly warm at the surface. Right now, we've got 70s everywhere you look around the region. We've got 81 though right now in Andalusia, but mostly low and middle 80s for us. And the 24-hour temperature change is pretty interesting too. That's what all that cloud cover. No more clouds, and you see temperatures about 4, 5, 6 degrees higher than they were at this time yesterday. 90 degrees in Tampa right now. Actually, these are afternoon highs. These numbers are a little bit warmer than we've seen the past few days, and Tampa actually saw some pretty mean thunderstorms earlier this afternoon. Right now, those are still ongoing in the northern and central portions of Florida, and there's that stalled out frontal boundary still kind of hanging around in the Gulf Coast. Numbers right now in the 70s and 80s, and you see some of the cooler numbers right off in the Midwest. 64 in Oklahoma City and just a few hundred miles south, 84 in Dallas. Let's play Find the Cold Front. There it is right there. That's cold front. We'll be sweeping through our area later on during the weekend, bringing this cool weather for the start of our work week next week. It's going to be a rather dry cold front, not like the one that we had on Sunday and Monday of last week move in, where brought us a lot of rainfall. This one's going to be relatively dry, but when it does move through, we'll bring us some much cooler temperatures, very fall-like for us for this time of year. There's the front that starts to wash out. Not a whole lot of cloud cover or rainfall throughout the Wiregrass for tomorrow. There's the cold front that will approach. Just going to run out of moisture by the time it gets here, and things should start to be a whole lot cooler once we get past that cool front. How about Tropical Storm Oscar? Still in the Atlantic. It's got winds of 45 miles an hour. It's just going to slowly drift north for the next couple of days and then dissipate, and then that'll be it for Oscar. The Gulf cast, nice conditions, fewer clouds out there, seas 1 to 2 feet, bays will be smooth. For tonight, we'll see 63, some clouds, maybe a little patchy fog too. That light northerly wind might decrease those fog chances. 87 for tomorrow afternoon, more sunshine and a little bit warmer than it was for today. That 5-day forecast shows the frontal boundary passing on Sunday, and then things start to get a lot warmer, or actually a lot cooler, for Monday and Tuesday. Here's your weather-wise question. Just recently, just today, Tropical Storm / Hurricane Nadine spent more than 21 days churning in the Atlantic, tying it with what storm for the second longest on record? Was it Greg, Georges, Gary, or Ginger? And I'll give you a little hint. Okay. You have to go on our website. The story is posted on the weather page.
All right. I don't like that they named somebody Ginger, to be quite honest with you.
Paul.
It's not all about you, Paul.
I know it's not all about me, but I'm just saying, man, it's offensive.
Unique.
I know it's offensive, is what it is. Anyway.
Speaking of Paul, he's in for sports tonight for Kim, and I think it's definitely your favorite word. What, the Choptober.
Choptober, exactly. You have to do the tomahawk chop. You're going to say Choptober.
And it's here now?
Yep, finally here now.
Yep.
The Braves getting ready for their big one-game playoff with the St. Louis Cardinals tomorrow. We'll hear from players and manager Freddie Gonzalez. Also, can pigs actually be dangerous? Well, if you ask Auburn coach Gene Chizik, they can. I'll explain all that coming up. But first, take a look at the Fish and Game forecast for tomorrow. Welcome back and good evening, everyone. Porktober is this Friday and Saturday in Dothan, but in Jordan-Hare Stadium, the Auburn Tigers are hoping to have a pig roast of their own when the Arkansas Razorbacks come to town. It's no secret both teams are struggling this year. National championships hopes have been dashed for the Hogs, and some fans think Arkansas's next win will come when pigs fly. I absolutely intended the pun there. Auburn is thinking differently, though. Despite the tough start for the Hogs, head coach Gene Chizik knows this team has explosive capabilities, and he isn't taking them lightly.
It's still a very, very good football team that's very dangerous, and I feel like, you know, after spending the last couple of days really watching them, and it's very glaring that they've got some very good football players on their team, and so they're very dangerous.
Toe meets leather for this game Saturday at 11 a.m. Alabama may have Saturday off, but in no way is Coach Saban giving his team a break. The Tide have played almost perfect this season, 5-0 with their closest margin of victory at 19. But in true Nick Saban fashion, he's not letting a good start go to his team's head. This week is about continuing to improve. Coach Saban says he is concerned with keeping his team at the right energy level and says that's one of the keys to them continuing their success the rest of the way.
I think that there's been plenty of times that we've shown when we do things with the right sort of energy level, you know, we do it pretty well, but that hasn't been as consistent as we'd like it for it to be.
The Crimson Tide will begin preparations for their next opponent, Missouri, on Monday. Two nations will collide in tomorrow's wild card baseball game as those in Braves country will battle the Redbird Nation for control of the territory known as the playoff spot. The Braves and St. Louis Cards will lock up for the inaugural one-game wild card playoff tomorrow. Atlanta will send Chris Medlin to the hill while 16-game winner Kyle Lose will toe the rubber for the Cardinals. This one game will determine who goes on and who goes home, and while some fans don't like the new format, the Braves are just treating it like a Game 7.
You know, you could imagine we've played 6 and we've won 3, they've won 3. And it's Game 7. I've never experienced a Game 7 as a manager, so I couldn't tell you how that feels, but it's Game 7, really.
Just give me the ball and let me go play. You know, from high school, little league, whatever. I just love playing the game, and I just want the ball.
And David Ross will be behind the plate for the Braves tomorrow instead of Brian McCann. And baseball history was made last night as Miguel Cabrera of the Detroit Tigers won the Triple Crown. Cabrera topped the AL with a .330 batting average, 44 homers, and 139 RBIs, becoming the first Triple Crown winner in the major league since Boston's Carl Yastrzemski in 1967. Cabrera becomes just the 15th player to win baseball's Triple Crown, joining an elite list that includes Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams, and Lou Gehrig. Well, you asked for it, you got it. Our Friday night football game of the week will be Geneva County at Brantley. 1,000 votes were cast, folks. That's a lot of people. And the big region contest will be featured right here tomorrow night on our Friday night football broadcast. I'll be out there at that game, so Geneva County fans, Brantley fans, come on by, say hey. I'd love to meet you.
All right. Big showing for that team.
Can't
okay.
Wait. Excited.
All right, Nate's going to have a final check on your forecast when we come back.
All right, here's that forecast breakdown for later on tonight. By 8 o'clock, some clouds, 70 degrees. By 10 o'clock, still going to remain mild, 67. Maybe a little bit of fog developing during the overnight hours. By midnight, 65 degrees. We had plenty of fog around this morning, and it cleared up pretty nice. More sunshine tomorrow.
That works. Sounds good. Thanks, Nate. That's it for News 4 at 6. Wheel of Fortune's going to come up next, and we'll see you back here for News 4 at 10 tonight.
I'm going to eat.